Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Cantina MX Football Podcast. We are live on YouTube tonight. I'm your host, Jaime Landeros. Joining me is Joel. We're going to be covering the Gold Cup debut for the Mexican national team. Some controversial stuff that happened in that match, also including a Chucky Lozano injury. We had a couple of friendlies over the week. America Atlas in San Jose. Chivas Rayados as well. Also the Euro final. Some racism there. And some other stuff that might be happening as a disciplinary issue because of the fans in Dallas. So this and much, much more. Before I go any further, though, let's welcome Joel. Joel, how we doing?
Greetings, Jaime. Yeah, so much football. We also saw Messi finally lift a trophy with Argentina.
Oh, that's right.
An actual trophy, because, I think he won the Olympics. But that's a medal. He needed to lift a cup. And that was one. I don't think, does FIFA hand out a second place? Or they just give the medal? Because that technically would be a cup too, you know?
Summer
Second
Olympics
place, the World Cup.
2008 and the under 20 in 2005.
Yeah, he was with Agüero, I believe, in both.
Yeah, now, that gap is closing between the Ronaldo and Messi debates. I pay my respects. He finally got one. It was quite painful for him to see, him lose a World Cup and then back-to-back Copa Americas. Having that monkey on your back, having everybody criticize you, and not being able to succeed for your country, and he finally got it.
Yeah, and it's not like they did bad. Those expectations are just very high, too high, and then there's the obvious comparison to how Barcelona was doing and all the trophies they were winning. But to have his team in all those finals that we mentioned, most fans of teams are never, if they're lucky, they'll see one big final like that. And he took him to many. So, but to take him to all those and then still be seen as like failure, it's pretty,
Yeah. I don't know where we get this sense of entitlement. What he's accomplished in his career is, incredible. I just think it's like so crazy that we happen to have two of the best players of all time, like, play against each other and being able to measure that on a yearly basis. And, I think what Messi did, he actually was the catalyst for Argentina, whereas, Ronaldo, people don't like to talk about it, but he did get injured in that Euro final, and he had to bounce out early. So, I don't know how much of a impact he had in that final. I know throughout the whole tournament, he did put the team on his back, but in the final,
taking him there.
Yeah. Like,
I would count it because you have to take the team. You still have to take the team to the big game, man. And
yeah.
And that's even that, to be in a final like that. It's not many teams that get to do that often.
And how about Brazil? What is it about the Maracanã and just
the Maracanã?
Just not being able to get the job done. They hosted the World Cup in 2014. Couldn't get the job done.
Well, the first Maracanazo, 1950, the Maracanazo.
Against Uruguay, yeah.
Against Uruguay. And but the Germany match wasn't there, was it? I don't think it was.
The 7-1?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in Brazil, dude.
No, but not in that stadium, the
Oh no, no,
Maracanã.
no. I don't know where it was actually.
Yeah, just knock it down, build a new one. We'll call it the Pelé Stadium or whatever you want to call it.
It was at
Yeah,
the Mineirão, Estadio
yeah, and
Mineirão.
and the funny thing was, so Argentina was supposed to host it,
That's
and
right.
then they weren't able to. Brazil picks it up, and they did it last minute, and they get to the final, and they lose it to the host, lose it to the would-be host.
Yeah. We also had some Euro action. Everybody said football was coming home, but I think they messed up and actually meant football's coming to Rome. It's quite a match there in England at the Wembley. England struck first within the first 2 minutes with Luke Shaw, man. It was one of the perfect starts to a Euro final. In fact, I think it was the fastest goal recorded in a Euro final. And it really just felt like, here we go. It's finally coming home. Football's coming home. But I had predicted this. I had told all my friends, Italy's gonna drag this out, man. They're gonna play defensively. They're gonna make it very tough, and they're gonna tie the game, and then probably take it overtime, maybe win in PKs, and that's exactly what happened. They tied it up around the 70th minute, dragged the game on to penalties, and England missed 3 in a row. Rashford, Sancho, and Sacco, and
Sancho.
man.
Sancho y Saco, damn, sounds like an albur.
And unfortunately, there was a lot of hooliganism in that match. You mentioned what happened over there, like some racism.
Well, like yeah, on social media, those players, 3 of them were all um, black players, and so just they've been getting a lot of comments
Interesting.
in their social media, a lot of hate, a lot of racist stuff flying their way. I'm not, I'm not justifying it, but everyone was going to be attacked. That's just the easiest way to attack the player. It's unfortunate, but as a Mexi fan, I'm seeing I'm seeing something good out of this because
You're trying to find the silver lining in all this.
well, I mean, because I think Mexico's become a bit of a scapegoat where there's worse than the whole puto chant. There's way worse, and this is actually way worse, and there seems to be a blind eye, and even from gotta call out the other Liga MX English, you know, that we see on Twitter. A lot of these people that they won't really criticize the other stuff. They're just more on the oh stop saying it. But we have to see it as a whole as well. And so I don't think FIFA would do anything because this is UEFA event.
Uh huh.
But if this abuse, if this stuff continues from the English fans or those players, probably like in a friendly or some FIFA event,
Hmm.
then we have to see what they're gonna do about it. Because it can't just be on Mexico, because just what happened in Mexico recently against Trinidad, which we'll talk about it. But going on what happened, their next match could be at a behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Although, and then I gotta clarify as well. And this sanction, I don't think will be from FIFA because Gold Cup is CONCACAF event. It
Right.
could be from CONCACAF though, but CONCACAF being here in the U.S. So yeah, and then we'll get to it because what Trinidad started doing seems I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Mexico had their debut in the Gold Cup. It was a scoreless match between them and Trinidad and Tobago at the Cowboy Stadium, that cursed Cowboy Stadium. Somebody always gets injured there every time Mexico is in town. And unfortunately, this time, Our best player, Chucky Lozano, fell victim to a very tragic injury. He got shoved into the knee of the goalkeeper. He got his eye all busted up, his neck all messed up. He's in a neck brace now. He's officially ruled out for the rest of the tournament. 6 weeks. And, he did post a video after, like a couple of days after, just, saying that he's okay. But, man, he looked like shit. His wife's, like, holding him straight up. He can't even hold his posture. He's got a neck brace. His eyes all swollen. It looked like he just got hit by a train. And, the referee did a terrible job. He let the play go on. That should have been an immediate stoppage. We already saw what happened to, Raul Jimenez or Christian Eriksen. Referees will stop the game immediately and tend to the player because he was motionless. Funes Mori was raising his hands trying to get the medics on the field. So it was just very bad refereeing in that match. And, the tackles continued to happen. I turned it off at halftime. I just couldn't. It was unbearable to watch. I hate teams that play like that. Anti-football, park the bus, and dirty. And apparently after the match, Trinidad and Tobago came out with a statement saying that racism has no place in the game or society, and we must do more to regulate this. So they're accusing Mexico of being racist. There was a puto chant. And, I don't know what you have to say about that, Joel.
Yeah, well, I didn't hear unless they're talking about social media. I don't know if you could see fans angry at what happened to Chucky and making some negative comments. I could see that happening in social media though. And that's where I would have the problem because I think a lot of this stuff is being used. It's not new. It's been around forever. You could see, and again, not justifying it, but all of a sudden act like it's being, making it sound like this is new, or like if it's making it worse than it really is. That's the part I dislike. But we could see from past games and different teams, different players where they would get death threats and just how much they would be attacked, fans and media, of course, because there wasn't because there we didn't have, yeah, sorry, I dropped my mic, because we don't have like the like we do now where you could just screenshot stuff or copy, you know. We don't have that. But wait, just really quick. But back then, it was what was more popular was like soccer forums. And if you visit any soccer forums, like 90s, early 2000s, man, those places were vile, man. They were like an Xbox game chat room, man. It was just it was horrific, dude. And but that's the whole thing now, where people started, like somewhere down the line, people effed up, started putting their real info, and then other people figure out, okay, you said this, and then they'll link you to wherever you work. So what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, that stuff where people saw that it was like, okay, because before it was like more anonymous. Someone pissed you off, and then there was really nothing you could do about it. You'd just be pissed off, and that was that. And it's funny, the levels of, it's like road rage, the level of pissed off some people can get. And like, I think now it became easier to dox people, where now you would piss someone off and they would, make it their life mission to make your life hell. And that's part of what we're seeing. But at the same time, it's like other people taking advantage of things like that. So I do think Trinidad's being, I don't know what they're trying to do with that, man. Just bringing more attention to something, that making something small even bigger than it is.
Here's the thing, man. It's like, this is my problem with all this is they go on Twitter, because everybody goes on Twitter, and they make all these accusations, and then they say, and if you want to know more, click on this, and their website on their freaking bio is broken. So I don't even know if they even own the domain to their own federation or whatever. And then they say, see our IG and Facebook page for the full statement. I try to go on their Instagram, has been updated since 2015. And I'm like, yo, man, like, you can't just like say something and then, but wait, there's more. And then, you go down this like brick wall. Like, I don't know, man. I wish they could have just said what exactly they heard and all that. Cause you can't just be doing that and then walking away from it and then letting the internet people just say, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They can be in that high horse though and act like they're fans, like pretend like they're. If you were to search stuff from their fans, I bet you would find. But I mean, why do you want it to get to that point where we start policing what everyone says? It's just it's just the fun's getting ruined, man.
So a lot of rumors are starting to pick up now, and they say that they are potentially going to force the match to be played behind closed doors, which would be a huge blow to the Gold Cup, to the city of Arlington, and for the fans. They're not going to be able to go see their team. So, I mean, this chant, if Mexico continues to violate it, they're going to continue to escalate things, close doors, fines. But, unfortunately, man, I mean, we could be potentially missing out on a World Cup. They might make an example out of us.
Yeah, there's that possibility, and I don't really care. I don't care, man. It doesn't really like scare me. I could care less. But I know, like, Jaime, you're planning to make the Qatar trip, so I could see why you would want Mex to be there. Those are great experiences if we do get to go to a World Cup.
I mean, you've been to World Cup, right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you, man, they're organized to suck you dry, man. They'll make it to the point of like they're designed to get the most money out of the fans. So like you could just study the map. So whatever country, and then you see where they put. So Mex plays here. Mex will play in one city. And then their next game is like you have to take like a 4-hour flight, or it'll be so far off you have to eventually get a flight, either a flight, a train, not just that, but also pay hotel lodging as well.
Of course.
And then of course every place, if you were to rent and it's you renting on match day, it's prices go up 300%.
Yeah.
If it was 150 a day, the room now it's like 400, and we're talking about like just a regular,
You went to what, Germany?
Germany, and one of the reasons, because Germany is not that big of a country, you could get by on train, and so it was tough, but you could still. I saw a lot of people that were like backpack it. They'll go see a match, and then they would stay in that city, and the day before, that you could travel to the next city and get there just before kickoff. So you didn't have to, be, and like what South Africa was different. You couldn't just travel. The country's big, so you had to like take like a 4-hour, 5-hour flight. And I was like, nope, I'm not. I'm not planning on doing all those in flights just to see 3 games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how big Qatar is
It's pretty
in the
small.
close of the.
I mean, if you think Germany's
So
small,
okay, smaller, so that could probably be that would make it a good World Cup to go to. The U.S. is gonna be tough, man. Like if you're following
population of
Mex,
Qatar is 2.83 million. So yeah, it's a tiny country.
yeah. Imagine when it comes U.S., Mex, Canada.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's you better save some shekels, man, and be prepared to if you're gonna follow a team, maybe hit all three countries.
I know the way it's gonna work is like obviously Mexico will have all their matches in Mexico. Unfortunately,
Well, who
I
knows,
think
man? Who knows?
well, you know, if things stay the course, but the
Well,
whole
because they're host, so Azteca Stadium, they're bound to play at least their opener there, and
yeah.
then they could just bounce him out to some, to
No, I think they
Miami or
said that
whatnot.
Mexico will play all their
They said,
matches there, and then all the way up until I want to say quarterfinals, and then I think like semis and the final will be in the states.
all right, well,
Yeah, and then it's gonna be Azteca, Monterrey, and Chivas, the three stadiums.
Jalisco, all right,
The Coron.
the Akron.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the match, it was pretty frustrating to watch, and I'm starting to realize like, man, why did we take our A team to this? We're just risking ourselves. Players are getting injured, and nobody took their A sides. Like we shouldn't have done that. We should have let these guys have their vacation, their preseason with their clubs, let them be ready and healthy for the World Cup qualifiers because that's when it really matters.
Well, probably, Tata probably wants, he missed out on 2020. Probably wants to see what, you know, wants to get as much PT with the first team as he can get. As much time and get the players as much playing time
Yeah.
together. That could be it. But I still think fans always have these big expectations. But we could look at past Gold Cups and you always get Mexico playing like games like they did against Trinidad. And it's one thing I find funny was for a while after La Volpe left, there was all this like people wanting him back. And it's like, did you guys forget the Gold Cup he had? The one outside of even the one in Mex, because I went to that one.
Oh, you
I
did?
think that one was, yeah, it was what, '03? Was it '03
It was
or the
2003.
four? Three? Yeah, there you go. That had some really bad games, man. I saw the game at Azteca versus Honduras. I believe it was 0-0 with Honduras hitting the post pretty late in the game. If my memory serves right, but they did hit the post. And there was some pretty horrible games. And they won that one, but the one that followed, where they get eliminated, I think they got eliminated in group stage. I don't know that they look bad. They just looked horrible. And so you've seen it with pretty much many of the coaches where I don't know, some Gold Cups just Team C
They're
Max
pretty
and
bad.
they're gonna go balls out. So I don't know why they're surprised. I see all the people angry, and it's like I guess because they always compare it to the last good one, and they think it's always gonna be like that. But it's very difficult to maintain, to stay at this. If you reach this high level and to keep it, like when Germany wins the World Cup in 2014, and you hear a lot of the pundits saying how they were gonna be, a powerhouse, and they were gonna just for the next 10 years or so be very dominant, and then they get bounced out of the group stage in 2018, you know, and they just haven't been nowhere near as good as people thought they would be, and that's kind of it's normal, nothing bad. Doesn't mean nothing bad. It's just people's expectations.
You want to hear some trivia about that 2003 Gold Cup?
Yes, hit me.
Osvaldo had a clean sheet the entire tournament.
Snap. See, I didn't even realize that.
That's so hard to do.
Cle-
Mexico was in the same group as Brazil. We beat them 1-0 with the Borg scoring. And then Brazil beat Honduras 2-1. And then we tied Honduras 0-0. We go off to the knockout stage against Jamaica. Score 5 on them. 5-0. Then we play against Costa Rica 2-0. And then we beat Brazil in overtime 1-0. Danny boy, Daniel Osorno scored that goal. I remember I was in Mexico when they won that. It was a very memorable moment.
I was in the stadium.
That's
Where were
crazy.
you at, Jaime?
I was in Jalisco. I was at my grandma's house
Okay.
watching it, and yeah, that goal, man. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, was that golden goal at the time? I could be wrong.
No, I don't. Oh man, 03, we're going so far back.
Yeah, I think it was golden goal, man.
Going like
'Cause the
almost, what, 18 years?
It was golden goal. Oh, that's crazy. Because
18 years, man.
the little goal,
Damn.
the little soccer ball is gold. So it says golden goal on Wikipedia. That's crazy.
Yeah, that Brazilian team was a young team, and they had Diego and Robinho, and they were both
Maicon.
from Santos, and they had Kaká. No, but those were the three young up, that were gonna be the next best thing. And Kaká was the one that became
Oh wow.
the best one out of the group. But yeah, Diego Robinho had been really good with Santos, and Diego sort of fell off.
Yeah.
He didn't. Robinho did end up going to
Madrid.
to Madrid, and then he sort of disappeared, I think.
He went to City and
Um,
then he went on this crazy travel. But that look at that Brazilian squad: Thiago Motta, Carlos Alberto, like you mentioned, Robinho, Diego, Kaká, Julio
well,
Baptista, Maicon, Alex. Man, this team was stacked, bro.
yeah, but they were very young.
Yeah,
When they played, a majority of those were very young, like under 23.
under 23.
Yeah, and one thing that helped them X was they had them in Miami, and then they flew them. They had to fly into Mex
What?
for the final. Brazil, they played. I believe
Oh,
they had played their game. And, it's that I'm not saying it's cheating or anything, but we have to remember the altitude,
right.
and it does have effects, man. You're playing at Miami, I'm guessing at sea level, but then you go to altitude, you're gasping for air. Um, I'm not saying Mexico wouldn't have been able to beat them. I
7,000.
guess if they want,
Yeah, 7,000
you
feet above
wanted,
sea level.
yeah, wanted more altitude, take them to Toluca. It's even higher. But I don't, it has some effect. I'm not saying it doesn't, but that's part of the having the home field advantage. Those are some of the things.
Yeah, that was a fun final. All right, this is gonna be a controversial opinion, but fuck it. I think we should bring back the golden goal, man. I know it's like, I mean, I think it would be fun.
Yeah, yeah, I liked it. I like Gol de Oro. Cool name. Yeah, I like me likes. Um, damn, yeah, I don't know why they went to the other game. Mex would have lost that cup with the U.S. and a Gol de Oro. But you rarely get games like that, where how in the Mex, what was it, the League's Cup final,
Which one, the Nations League?
the Mex U.S. Yeah, the Mex US with 2 goals in OT.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really get that many. Gol de Oro. Except, I guess, sometimes what happens is the teams can be like, if it's Gol de Oro, just become more defensive, just lock it in and take it to penalties.
Because, I mean,
Than if
that already happens a lot now. You know, these games go to extra time, 15 minutes, right? And we saw what happened in the Euro where, like, Italy and England were just gassed and they were all just trying to go to PKs. So, you know what? Fuck that, man. Score a goal and the game's over. Like, that is the most dramatic way to win a final. Like, think about that. That is insane. That is like the golden gun on 007 GoldenEye. It's like you shot once and you're dead. Game over, man. Like, that is the ultimate. It's like a walk-off in baseball where the guy hits a home run to win the game and then everybody fucking loses their marbles. Like, that would bring the excitement back to football, because I'm not a big fan of these games getting dragged, and especially now that they got rid of the away goal in like Champions League and all this stuff. It's like, just make it. It's just like the Cascaritas on Sunday. El próximo gol gana, you know, and then everybody's like, oh shit, okay, we got to try now. You know, it's just like it brings that level back into the game, that intensity, because these dudes were just, you know, passing the ball around for 30 minutes and dragging it into penalties. At least give them a little bit of fear. And, you know, you slip up, you lose. I remember when Pachuca won against Cruz Azul in the final, it was a golden goal. And it was the most painful, probably, defeat for Cruz Azul because they were favored to win that final. But I remember, like, the game went to overtime and the game ended, like, so quickly. And I was just like, damn. Like that? It's like, yep, like that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, Jaime. We'll see. You never know. Don't discount it. Golden goal might come back someday.
So, during the week, America and Atlas came to town here in the Bay Area, San Jose. I was there. I got there a little bit early. And it's quite unfortunate what unfolded. There was majority America fans. And I had already been inside the stadium when this happened, but there was an incident. Fans fighting each other. There was like a van that was getting like stomped out in the parking lot. They were throwing rocks in there, breaking the windows, and the van was trying to speed away. And you get to the stadium, the game goes on, and there was a couple fights in the stands, in the bathroom stalls. It was just a very, like, not a family function, you know, like with these type of games, especially in San Jose, like that stadium's very small, intimate. You know, you want to bring out the family, the kids, and, you know, being able to see a team that you normally don't see out here. But it's just unfortunate that, you know, these kind of fans are just ruining the game for everybody. As far as the action, it was a pretty uneventful night. America ended up winning 1-0. Nico Castillo was finally got some minutes. I know he's been like injured, and Atlas had a very young team, a lot of youth players in the starting lineup, a lot of players with like 3-digit numbers. You know, so same thing with America.
Yeah,
too.
those are it became a thing in Mex. I don't even know how, but all the teams sort of started doing it. I don't know if this came from the Federación, because it used to be common that, you know, the lower teams, they would just repeat the same, you know, one through like 30 or whatever, you know, depending how big the squad was. And then it became a thing in Mex to just, instead, the first team had the first pick of the numbers, and then like the second team had the numbers that continued. So it'll be like 30 to 60, and then you started seeing these, like, you know, NFL numbers. And then all of a sudden, like you said, a lot of 3-digit numbers. And I don't know. Man, I'm a bit of a traditionalist here. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I like
what is
having.
the point of that?
I don't know, man. I like seeing the 10. It's become a symbolic number 10 of one of your best players or your most creative ones.
That's
And
lost its
and
weight.
if you have that number, that's who to look for. And you're seeing a team with now it's like, yeah, number. I don't know. I don't know. I may
I'm not a fan of it
get on
either. Not sure why they do that. The 3 digits, it just looks silly. It's like number 192 stepping into the pitch. It's like, what? It's like, yeah.
yeah.
But overall, don't take too much from these matches. They're friendlies. Everybody's on international duty. But it was nice to see two Mexican teams in town. Layun was there, and Nico Castillo, Roger Martinez. Yeah. And it was a sold out stadium over there in San Jose. There was also another friendly in San Antonio between Chivas and Rayados. Rayados ended up winning 1-0. And I think I talked about this on the last pod, Joel. I'm really concerned about the beginning of the season for Chivas because we got players in the Olympics, we got players in the Gold Cup, so we're gonna be toothless, come kickoff, which I believe is in 10 days from now. So Liga MX is just around the corner.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Not many players to choose from. Teams not wanting to sell. But Jaime, we did promise, no Chiva talk because we went overtime on Chiva talk last week.
Yes.
just let's just see how it plays out.
Fair enough. So with the potential closed door match for the next Mexico game, do you think Mexico has the legs to make it to the final and win this thing, or are we?
Oh yeah, the talent is there. I mean, you always have bad games, and with Trinidad, it's something we've always seen, and we talked about here how Mex struggles against teams like African teams, and Trinidad is Caribbean, but it's African players, similar type, like they're strong and fast and very physical and hard hitting, and so that's always been a thing for the Mex team. So I didn't, and the other thing is we always have that, like as Mexico fans, we tend to always see a lot of these teams as they suck. So
Yeah.
in our minds, it's always like you always expect them to suck. But TNT has, they've qualified to the World Cup. They've had good players that have gone to EPL or played, competitive. So a lot of times you're not keeping up with the team. That's still your mindset that they suck. But and that's the thing with football now. We're seeing how it's become a very physical game where it's evened out for many teams. So we've seen teams like Iceland and some of these smaller countries all of a sudden, they'll go on a good streak. So yeah, I think we need sometimes we take away credit from some of these teams. Like same we could say with Jamaica or Honduras. They could end up improving from when we last saw them, and then have a team that is at least strong enough not to get punked.
Yeah.
They'll start swinging back. But I mean, Mex playing Cuba. Cuba's gonna be like they could send Chivas with no strikers and they would beat Cuba. Because Cuba's like didn't have the squad deserted. They have the team almost always
Cuba, just
deserted.
like Curacao, have pulled out.
Oh, so, so who are they playing now?
Yeah, so
The automatic three, or what was going on there, man?
Curacao had a bounce from the tournament because they had way too many positive cases of COVID. Guatemala took their place, and there was even talk about them just like, we don't want that spot, like we're not gonna be your
They,
sloppy seconds.
well,
So
they already lost. They
so they
lost to El
lost their
Salvador.
home opener to the El Salvador. So then Cuba has been replaced by El Salvador. So we're gonna play El
Oh,
Salvador.
okay.
We're playing Guatemala and then El Salvador.
Ah, all right. That was the old school hardcore rivalry, man. That was
Which
the
one?
Mex rivalry. Both of them teams. I think Guatemala was the very first match Mexico played. National team. I believe it was Mex versus Guatemala. But throughout the years, I was just because the proximity. It was a big rivalry. More so with
El
with
Salvador.
El Salvador. Yeah, when Mex goes, man, it's very hostile. Salvador,
It's
Honduras,
cutthroat, man.
and oh man, so yeah, those teams are gonna come ham at Mex, man. That's their World Cup for them. They play playing Mex. It could be
Absolutely.
more headache. It could be more headache, Jaime. I was thinking Cuba with half the team deserted. I was like, it's
It's
like
gonna be a
you could
tough
go.
one. They're gonna go after our ankles. They're gonna play dirty.
They're gonna play hard, man.
I would
Um,
I would love to see, like how like they have the TV show Trading Spouses. I would love us to trade confederations with like England. Like, hey, guess what, lads? You guys are now part of the Gold Cup. We'll do your Euro for you, and good luck. Protect your shins at all times because this region is brutal. Cause like Europeans play so like organized and you know what I mean. They're like super like high IQ football, and there's like this unspoken like gentleman's agreement. Like fuck all that, bro. Throw all that like any game plan you have, just throw it away, bro. You're in the jungle. You're in the freaking like this is
yeah,
a
no, that
different
does affect dude,
different
playing with
world.
humidity and whatnot.
It's like, mate, these guys aren't playing to play football. Like, nope, exactly. That's exactly. Welcome to CONCACAF, man. These guys are anti-football. They are not looking to play organized, possessive. They're just looking to bunker and break ankles. That's the goal.
Yeah, it could be tough, man. But the talent's there. Talent's there. Let's see how this plays out. But I mean, obviously, Mex will continue to be favorites. They just need a win.
We have
That's not
some.
hard.
We have a really active chat tonight.
Yeah. Read us some comments.
Ricardo
Jaime.
says TNT are so trash, yet we couldn't score on these bums. Uh,
God.
But since they're bigger than us and we aren't as skilled as Brazil, this is the end result. He also says that
No.
I would prefer Mexico to leave CONCACAF and be fringe team in CONMEBOL than to qualify against these CONCACAF teams.
They don't they don't want, a lot of the CONMEBOL teams don't want Mex there. Not as a World Cup, because we always think, the top teams, but the smaller teams like the Bolivias, the Venezuelas,
Yeah.
the Ecuadors, even Paraguay, teams with their federations aren't as strong as Mex and whatnot, and then so for them is to bring someone like Mex would just make it even more difficult for them. And of course, it'll be difficult for Mexico going up against the top, the top three or whatever top four are during that. Brazil, Argentina, and whatever two take the place, be it Colombia, Chile. But the bottom ones, they don't want to. They don't want Mex.
Yeah, their chances of qualifying for the World Cup just got that much smaller if you throw Mexico into the mix. Mexico would
Yeah.
automatically be a top 3, top 4 team in CONMEBOL. Sorry,
Oh no, man,
that's a
not
little bit of
automatic. Come on,
that's a
Jaime.
little bit of
Not
arrogance.
automatic.
That's a little bit of arrogance.
It's very. That's a lot of arrogance.
But come on, man. You watch this Copa
You're
America?
discounting Uruguay.
Did you watch this Copa
Yeah,
America?
but
It's like, bro,
but
Colombia
Copa
ain't
America's
shit,
never
dude.
been a thing for fancy. You're expecting all this tiki taka,
We
whatever.
had Peru and Colombia in the semifinals. Okay, let that sink in, man.
Peru has had a pretty good team, man. They've had
Peru with
recently.
our
They
sloppy
went to the World
seconds
Cup.
Ormeño who couldn't make it to our team, so he ends up playing for Peru. Come on, man. Come on, man. Mexico would be top 3 in CONMEBOL. Meet me in the parking lot. Fight me. Anyone that disagrees with that.
I mean, come on. You can't go from not being able to beat TNT to top 3 in CONMEBOL.
Well, they don't play like that, man. They don't play like that in South
Yeah,
America.
they do, man. You need to see more Libertadores games. Hey, man, that's where they learn.
We talking about the Paraguayas of the world. Come on, man. These teams aren't the same. Ecuador. We're above those two. I would say, all right, Chile is not that team that they used to be. Uruguay isn't that team that they used to be either. So right now it's like that third spot is up for grabs. But even if we didn't qualify to the World Cup, we would still be better as a nation just being in that region. Just being exposed to that competitiveness in South America would benefit us more than whatever we are here in CONCACAF.
I don't know, because you could say that.
If Australia was able to leave the Oceania to go to Asia, why can't we do the same?
Well, because Oceania, it's just tiny, It's like all these tiny countries that don't even have, they don't even have a football league. So that was the main thing, where it's like they were beating teams like 20-0. And so it was like, and then it's like they didn't have a ticket, so they had to always do a repechaje against a South American team. So
That's
it was
right.
just very unfair, very unfair for a country like Australia that's been putting a lot of money into the sport, and so that's the difference. But uh, the whole thing, like just being there and saying that automatically. But then you have that in Europe, where you have a lot of countries that they're in UEFA, then they're not, better than Mex, and or that much better than other countries. So just being there is not gonna, it's not gonna automatically, raise. You're not gonna unlock some achievement just because you made it there. Um, is It'll be like no different than what we see with Colombia and Chile, where some World Cup cycles they have a really good team, and then others they just suck, and that would happen to Mex. And I said this last podcast, say it again. All those changes have to come from within the country. Like they need to improve the league. They need to improve just a lot of things, like infrastructure wise, like in the country, like put more fields where kids can play. Um, like kind of how Germany did, where they built schools, and then to make it easier for people to go and get coaching license, and that affects from the youth, because now you could go, like, the random dude, maybe you won't get to coach a professional team, but you already got like pro training, and if you're coaching like AYSO level or high school, all those youth, they're better off already. They're learning from someone that has a better understanding than some dude that just watched some YouTube videos or grabbed of whatever 442 magazine or some old book to get some practice drills. So it's those things, I feel, ultimately where they have to change. Um, Other than that, just thinking, oh, because we went here and now we're that, I don't see it, Jaime.
I'm at the Coca-Cola FIFA rankings because we know how credible they are. They have Brazil as number 3, Argentina as number 8, Uruguay as number 9, Mexico is number 11. So we are technically top 4 in CONMEBOL. And then you got to go to 15 for Colombia. Chile's 19. So I top 4. I think we're top 4. And the comments.
I think they can. Well, yeah, they could be top 4, but not automatic. That's my thing. You said automatic. You said they'll just slide in,
So Ricardo says Mexico would be a 5th or 6th on a bad CONMEBOL qualifying cycle, and being the 4th team to qualify on a good cycle, we would never finish top 3. Never say never, Ricardo. But
yeah, never say never.
What it said, Mexico should be the Notre Dame of football, independent of conference, too big and money maker to be playing against the bums, but not good enough for UEFA.
Damn. It's kind of savage.
Firm says, I want to see Mexico versus Canada rematch. We were robbed from that last Gold Cup when Canada blew their 2-0 lead against Haiti. And he said that game, Mexico-Canada game, was intense. So, yeah, I mean, we're kind of waiting for Canada to wake up. They have Davies, who's a Champions League winner. But Canada's still still light years away from being a powerhouse in CONCACAF.
Well, no, not light years. Jaime, again, come on, man. You're not paying attention. They've been. I mean, they got like 2 teams in MLS, and then they did their own. They did their own league. So they've been planting the seeds there, and then they are hosting the World Cup. So I mean, they got already. They already got some.
Have they ever made the
World
Cup? No, huh?
Yeah, they have. Yes, they have.
When?
I believe was it 86? I think it was Mexico 86 or
1986 group
There you go.
stage, position 24. I think they won a game.
Oh snap! I just knew they made it. I didn't know.
Let's
I didn't know
see. Canada, where are you? Huh.
Canada is also the only team outside of Mex and US to win a Gold Cup.
Oh,
They held it down for the region and beat Colombia.
that's right. They did. That
So,
was
I mean,
in 2001?
Yeah, man, that's 20 years. But they've shown they can. They just need, they just have needed.
Or was it?
Well, they've lacked the league, so that of course that's always gonna hurt them.
Oh no, Canada lost all their matches. They lost to France, Hungary, and the Soviet Union in '86.
Yeah, you go. Okay, so they won. I was like,
I didn't even know they made the World Cup, man. That's crazy. Good for them.
yeah, and winning. I mean, that should be for the Central American teams, man. They should be like, Canada to come and win it, and you had teams like Honduras and even Salvador and all of these, Costa Rica too, man, with their leagues, and you haven't been able to win this tournament. Canada just came out of nowhere and took that cup.
Canada won the Summer Olympics in 1904. I did not know that. The soccer.
1904, man. But how many teams were there? It's probably like 5. That's when it was all
so
amateurs.
Random.
Well, and you know what? And I guarantee you, it was probably a bunch of like Scotsmen or like Irish, could maybe even English. Like they were all like probably immigrants. Went to Canada. Unless they were French Canadian, could have been a bunch of Franceses. But I guarantee you, man,
They won the Gold Cup in 1985 and then the year 2000.
Well, that was the other Gold Cup. So if you look at the Gold Cup, because they rebooted it in like 1990, that's when it just stayed in the
Mm.
U.S. But before that, it would be hosted. Different countries got to host it, and that you did see a bunch of teams win it. You saw more teams, and I think it needs to return to that, and I think that uh, a lot of people will start giving a bit more credit to some of these countries when they actually start winning something. We won't say they suck so much.
I got Firm saying some things. He said that year the U.S. didn't qualify. Canada didn't score at all in the World Cup. When the World Cup sadly switches from oil to lithium cobalt, there will be lots of changes. First world countries like the US and Canada, plus China or India, may finally break through. Don't know about that one. We need CONCACAF and CONMEBOL to merge already. It'd be too complicated.
Well, the travel right now, it's too far.
Like, you think about the bottom of like South America, which is like, Chile or Argentina, and then having to travel all the way to Canada is just like, that's way too far,
Yeah, we need a couple more years when they faster airplanes, and it's like 2 hours. It'll be a 2 hour charter flight.
I would not be against the idea of, how you have all the rounds, right? And then you get like the final hex. Now I think it's like 8 teams in the final, thing. I'd be down for like, okay, like you take like the top, I don't know, 4 teams from CONCACAF, and then you throw them into the CONMEBOL, and then I don't know how many teams from South America qualify, but let's just say out of the Americas, like,
I believe they 4 qualify, and then they have a fifth, which is like a requalified ticket.
like just 8 teams qualify from the Americas, just to keep it simple.
Yeah, they would probably take our tickets, dude.
You're saying we couldn't finish top 8?
Take our lunch. Mex. I meant the region.
Oh, region.
Mex will probably squeak in there, but yeah, they would. They would. You want the region to be strong, and you're not going to Combo's not going to make it strong. You need these teams to play as many international games as they can.
USA still brag about coming in 3rd place in that World Cup in the Stone Age. I was watching the Brazil-Italy final, 1970 on YouTube. Some of those Brazil goals were garbage. Pele looking like a young trophies.
Damn.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I watched like the Pele documentary on Netflix, and I was looking at some of those games. I'm like, damn, dude. Like, I don't think they were as like talented.
No, it was.
I don't know. Some of those.
It was semi-pro. It was very semi-pro football, and it wasn't as even physical. The players weren't as fit as they are now. It's just different. More what you could do with the ball than how fast you could run. How tall you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think compared, because if you compare it to now, it is gonna look trash. But it was still like you couldn't just walk in there and like if you were to time travel, you weren't gonna, just jump in there and steal ball those dudes out.
I'm looking at the Gold Cup winners. Guatemala won one in 1967, Haiti in 73, Honduras in 81. And then we talked about Canada in 1985, year 2000. Costa Rica has 3, 1963, 1969, 1989.
Yeah, see, that was, but I mean, a lot of those countries got to host, and that makes a big difference. So I mean, I think as fans we've gotten quite uppity. Mexico's always playing as host.
Yeah.
And we have this mentality of they has to dominate or always win, and we sort of forget these teams have bounced Mexico out out of eliminate, out of World Cup qualifying. Took him out in '82 and in '74. And then the one game in Canada, man, almost needed Boso to come in there and score. So I mean, these teams aren't that weak. We just no respect, man. We Mex fans have little respect for the region.
Yep. There's a rumor about Santiago Munoz and potentially going to Celta Vigo. Something about a bid for him, and that would be obviously good news. He's only 18 years old, so for him to go to Europe at that young age would be awesome.
Santiago Munoz sounds like the kid from the Gold movie. What was that guy's name?
His name was Santiago.
Muniz?
Actually, I don't know, man.
I think it was Muniz. It was Kuno
Muniz.
Becker.
Yeah.
He was playing in MacArthur Park.
I love that movie. That was a great movie.
Yeah, the first one is nice. Then the other one's just...
Yeah, they're kind of whack. So, it's been a somewhat of a slow transfer market for Mexican players. We talked about Macias going to Getafe, so, if Santiago Munoz was to go, be good for him. I was kind of hoping that he would go to Chivas, but it doesn't seem like they have any money. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the show. Not too much action going on. Mexico will be back at it on Wednesday against Guatemala in the Gold Cup. And then they'll finish off against El Salvador. As far as the group as of right now, because El Salvador won, they're in first place with 3 points. Mexico in second with 1, as well as Trinidad and Tobago with 1. Guatemala doesn't have any. Canada and USA won their first 2 matches, as did Costa Rica and Jamaica. So that is it's so hard to go from like Copa America, Euro, and then now it's like Gold Cup. It's like, damn, man, like the level of play just went back.
It just kept dropping.
It's like, shit, man. It's like one is not like the other,
Man, yeah, Gold Cup to me is lost its luster. I just see it more as a...
Why is it
practice.
Necessary to have it every 2 years, man? This is already torture.
It's money. It was just money for these teams, because again, a lot of these teams don't get to play as often. The problem is that the federations they steal the money. Like, and we saw how with El Salvador they were gonna get booted from FIFA because just how corrupt the FA was. We were talking about they wouldn't get them the powdered Gatorade, for their halftime refreshment. So yeah, stuff like that, man, and that's what would happen where FIFA, they had a program years back, was like the gold program or something, and they would give money to like Caribbean countries, some of these small, like developing countries, to try to help them, and then money never would make it to the, it wouldn't make it. It was like to help them build fields and all that, and the people in charge of the federations would just pocket it, and if like reading, because like some people got wise, they got pretty smart, and it's like they're like, there's money in this, and how do you get the money? Because of the voting. So like the voting would come as you would vote for like a federation president, or then vote for other stuff for FIFA. But so, for example, like CONCACAF would vote on something. I'm still here?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I cut out. So and so like Turks and Caicos boat will be just as strong as Mexico.
Huh.
And so then that's how you ended up having like Jack Warner being FIFA president. You know, they started buying out. They would like pay off some dude in a small Caribbean island like Turks and Caicos, get someone and be like, all right, set up the FA. You don't really need to have a building. Just you could just get an address. You know, that's your office. You know, and this is the FA, and then you could just get a bunch of kids that are playing and set them up, and that's that. You know, once it's made official, they really can't begrudge you stuff. And if anyone's seen some games, we've seen like preliminary qualifiers, like before Hex, how Mex would go play in some countries that didn't even have a stadium. It was just like a field. It looked like a practice field.
Huh. Interesting.
So then that's where money started coming in, because they'll be like, all right, we're gonna, when you see the whole FIFA gate and all that, and so people were getting money to vote. Okay, we're gonna vote this guy in, or we're gonna vote for this. And so you had all these small countries where all these dudes were pocketing like massive amounts of money. And not only that, because you're now like a FIFA member,
Uh-huh.
you could buy rights to the World Cup, or even tickets, and there's a lot of money in tickets. And so that's like one of the things that like Warner would do. Like he'll get like the TV rights, and then he could like sell them, and he didn't even have to sell them. Like he could just make it free, but then he could sell it to a cable company, and then just get money. He will get tickets, the allocation of tickets, because each country, and if you went, if your country, especially if your country qualify, you'll get more tickets. And then he had like someone in his family set up a travel agency. So if you wanted to go to the World Cup, that was the only travel agency you could buy from.
Wow.
It's just so much corruption, man.
It's ridiculous.
After a while, I was reading all into that. I forgot about the actual game. It was like it could be in a Scorsese mafia movie, man. Like Casino.
Yeah.
You got these dudes, yeah, in the back room just counting money.
There was a kid, Marcelo Flores. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he was born in Canada, but his dad is Mexican, and he's eligible to play for Canada, Mexico, and England because he plays for Arsenal. So we have like a three-way battle.
Wait, but has he been in? I mean, just because he's in England doesn't mean he's eligible for England. Like he would have to have English citizenship, or his mom, or what?
He's I think it's
Or
because
has
he's
he
been there
been
for
there
so
long
long.
enough?
Yeah. He's
Yeah, because I could see him getting like so he won't count as a foreigner getting citizenship. I don't know how hard that is though, because I mean, before you could get like an EU passport, and he was like Mexican, like through his dad, maybe you could apply for like Spanish. Uh, but England, I know it's always been a bit more difficult.
Yeah, it says he's eligible to represent Canada, England, and Mexico. He was called up to the England under-16 side in 2019, but decided to join up with Mexico under-16 in that same year, playing every game at the Montiago tournament.
Yeah, I haven't heard of this guy. Interesting.
In
Are you just trying to talk
2020,
about Chivas again, Jaime?
no,
Are you just
in,
crapping for talent?
in 2020, Flores accepted a call up to Canada camp that would take place in January, but then he pulled out to remain with Arsenal, and he was on the provisional 60-man squad list for the Gold Cup with Canada. So we need to
Changed
get
his
back on
mind.
that.
I wonder what changed his mind.
Ricardo says Marcelo Flores is wider than Alexis Lalas. and that guy's whiter than glue.
His mom's probably.
So, yeah. Do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up tonight's episode?
Nah, just that. If anyone's interested in all of this madre, I was talking about how they were stealing money through the football. There's a really good book from David Yallop. It's called How They Stole the Game. I don't know if you can find it on PDF, but you could probably order it.
Wow.
It's just crazy. Is this guy David Yallop? He's an investigative journalist, and this guy was tracking all that stuff since way before FIFA Gate. He was like 10, maybe 20 years ahead of the game of just tracking, keeping track of all that stuff, going all the way back to Joao Avalanche, because he's the Brazilian guy that ended up becoming the FIFA president for a long
Huh.
time, and he was like the one that figured out how to game the system. He figured out how the whole thing worked, and he rigged it, man. And it's still today's some consequences when you start seeing all of this madre that's been, how we had some presidents being moved and removed, or fans going and throwing money because it just became so corrupt. And it even talks like going back to how that dude started, like in Brazil, because he was Brazilian, and going back to when Brazil had a dictatorship. It's
Wow.
it's it's a pretty good read. It gets boring sometimes, but it's overall it's good if you like that sort of stuff.
It's definitely interesting, man. Good plug there. I'm going to check it out, see if I can find it in the library or something.
Yeah, that's even a good idea too. You don't need to buy it; just go to the library.
Joe, now we want to know thoughts on the Chiellini horse collar. I don't know if you've seen that photo or that meme going around where like he's yanking the English player, kind of like when you get scolded by your mom and they yank you, you know.
Ah, I missed it,
Yeah,
man. I missed it. Jaime, you saw it though.
I did. I mean, again, I like the way the referee handled that match. He just let it free flow. And sometimes when you do that, yeah, you do miss some calls like that. That could have been a penalty or a free kick or whatever. But I'm all for the free flowing game, letting the game go, and just, as long as you can keep the players under control, if you're going to be kicking ankles and, breaking knees from the first minute, then you got to set the tone and you got to discipline the players, or else you let it go out of control, and then all of a sudden you start fist fighting, and so you just got to know the region you're in and the temperament of the team. But yeah, want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We were definitely lively on the chat today. Thank you guys for your ongoing support. Mexico will play on Wednesday, so if you're interested in that, watching them in the Gold Cup, make sure to tune in. And as for Cantina MX, we will be signing off for tonight. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, and also check out the photos that I took. Soccerchronicle.com. We have all the images from the Nations League, from the friendlies.
Jaime, you should have taken pictures of the fight. Like the Atlas America fight in the parking lot.
I know.
Submit him to Fuscan Wild.
I do have a pretty good photo, and it's in the album there, of this guy. He was trying to find his compadres, and he's standing on top of his truck, and he's got his little Modelo, and he's just like raising it up in the air.
Modelo time.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, I took some pretty good photos, but that was definitely one of my favorites, one of the night. But yeah. All right, guys. Hope you have a great night. Stay safe out there.